Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel to check out the video. Today's video is a duplication glitch. It is a two-person glitch, and you're actually going to be duping your own cars. The cool thing about this glitch that was founded by KC Glitches is that you can dupe one car, or you can dupe all 7 cars in your facility fairly quickly. So, want to give a shout out to Microwave Fish and Wild Sicilian for helping me with the clips in this video. So the requirements for the person who is going to be duping the car, which in this case is going to be Microwave Fish, he needs to have a facility. He's also going to either have to have an MOC with a elegy or a Fagio in there. And if you don't have an MOC, that's fine. You just need to have a garage either in the city or somewhere out in the hills or somewhere that is full. It can be a 2-car garage, it can be a 6-car garage, 10-car garage, it doesn't really matter. As long as that garage is full of cars, and you need to have at least one Fagio, one elegy in there if you're going to dupe only one car. If you were going to dupe 7 cars during this little session here, you would need to have either 7 Fagios or 7 elegies or a combination of them inside. So the big thing about the facility here is you need to have the facility full, and this is where you're going to actually take your cars that you're going to dupe. So if you want to dupe 7 cars, you have to have 7 individual cars inside the facility. You can't go ahead and keep duping one retro custom over and over unless you go ahead and finish the dupe and then start it over again. So the important part here is you also need a custom plate to change to whenever you sell. So in my case, I'm the helper. What happens is my friend invites me into his facility. He's outside of his car. Once I'm in the facility, I go ahead and start up that Gerald job, and then I tell him, I say, hey, I'm in the Gerald job. I'm in the lobby right now. Once I say that, what my friend's going to do is he's going to jump in his car, and then he's going to go ahead and hit the Xbox button or the PSN button. You're going to go to your friends list. You're going to go to your friend, and you're going to hit join game. Now what's going to happen is you're going to hit join game once, and then you're going to wait for that little join game menu to disappear, and then go back to the actual full picture that you can see of yourself inside the facility. Once that happens, you want to go ahead and drive the car out. And once you start to drive out of the facility, you should notice you get a black alert screen that pops up. And then all you need to do is just go ahead and hit the the A button or the X button, depending on Xbox or PlayStation. And then you would actually go ahead and join your friend's job here. Once you actually appear in the job as far as on the list, like you're fully loaded in, all you're going to do is go ahead and back out. You're going to back out of this job. Your friend that's helping you is just going to stay in here. Alright, now what's going to happen is once you end up backing out, you're going to spawn back outside of your facility, and you should not be in a vehicle. If for some reason you're in a vehicle and you get out of the vehicle and you can see it has a vehicle icon for you, you're just going to go ahead and drive back into the facility and repeat these steps again. So if you've done it correctly and you spawn outside of the facility and you're not in a car, that's a good sign. Just know that there is a car outside the facility. It does not have a tracker on it, so you can't find it. So later on, you'll have to go ahead and try and find it. So at this point, if you wanted to dupe just one car, what you would do now is you're outside the facility. Your friend can leave the Gerald job, but he needs to stay in the facility. If you were going to dupe more vehicles, he would just stay in the Gerald job, and you would keep repeating this process until you did 2, 3, 4, 5, however many cars you duped. And then once you're actually done duping and you say, okay, I'm not going to come back in the facility to grab any more cars, everything I need to do is outside, he can just leave the job, but he can stay in the facility. He needs to stay until you actually save these vehicles, which we'll go over. So you also notice at the end of this video, I show my point of view during this glitch, and I'm also going to give you some tips on how to avoid that black permanent loading screen when you're trying to save the vehicles. So at this point, Fish is on his second car. He joined me again. Once he got in, he ended up backing out. So now he's back on the map, and he's outside of. He has no car, and there's nothing out there. So he's going to come back in. I think Fish does 3. But again, if you wanted to do 1, what would happen is at this point when Fish just left, he's going to appear outside. And again, if you're only doing 1 vehicle, then this pertains to you. If you have an MOC, which would make things a lot easier, and you already have that Fagio or that elegy in the MOC, what you would do at this point is you would go ahead and first try to run around the map and find a copy of that vehicle that you drove out, but it does not have a tracker. It should be somewhere in the area of the facility, and some facilities are different. I have the Ron Wind Farms facility, and that thing kind of sucked. You'll see in the clip later. It's nighttime. There's so many hills and valleys and mountains that it was really difficult, and I actually waited till the daytime to find it. So what you would do is you would go ahead and find that car. Once you have it, you go ahead and just get into it. Then you're going to go call your MOC. You're going to drive to the area of the MOC. You're going to park that car that you duped. You're going to go inside the MOC. You're going to take that Faggio or that Elegy and drive it out. Now, once you drive it out, you're going to go ahead and take that car that you duped that does not have a vehicle icon or a player vehicle icon on the map. You drive it into the MOC. Now, some people, I guess, maybe didn't have a problem because the videos I was watching, nobody had the permanent black loading screen, but every time we've done it yesterday, every time we've done it, you get the permanent black loading screen. So I'll go over how to get rid of that. If you get the permanent black loading screen, you may be familiar with some of the previous glitches, where if you're stuck in that, what you need to do is, I would have my friend who's in the facility, and again, if Fish was doing one, I would have already backed out of this Gerald job that you see on the screen. I would stay in the facility specifically for this reason, or obviously, if you leave the facility, the cars outside will disappear and the glitch will be fucked, so don't leave the facility until he tells you he's totally done with the glitch. So I'll be back in the facility. Once he gets into the MOC, he's going to say, Goose, I got a black loading screen. I'm just going to go ahead and start up Titan of a job. Once I load into the Titan of a job, I'm going to tell him, hey, listen, I'm in the Titan of a job lobby. Go ahead and join me. He's going to do the same thing. Xbox or PSN button, go to your friends list, go to your friend's profile, and hit join game. Now, this step's a little different if you're trying to avoid the permanent black loading screen. Normally, in the first step of this, you would just hit the A button once, wait for the menu to disappear, and you get the full screen, and you would go through that step. But for specifically to get yourself out of the permanent black loading screen, he starts up the Titan of the job. Then you go ahead and join him, like I said, through the Xbox or PSN button and his gamer card, and you hit join, and just hit either A on Xbox or X on PS4 or whatever. And then as soon as you hit that, you're going to keep spamming the right trigger, which is the gas button. Keep spamming it. It might be 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And then what should happen is you should get an alert screen saying, are you sure you want to join this job? Then you would tell your friend, hey, I got the alert. And then what would happen is your friend can actually, at that point, just leave the Titan of a job. You should still have the alert. Wait about 3 seconds, and then go ahead and accept the alert. Just hit it one time. Wait for the second alert screen to pop up. It should say this session is no longer available. You accept that one, and then what happened is you should spawn back inside the MOC, and you might have about 5 seconds of a glitched out screen. Once you spawn back in the MOC, you should notice that there's 2 cars inside there. And what you want to do is go ahead and obviously exit the car that you just arrived in, and then that should disappear. You jump in the other car, and then you just simply drive it out. And what you can go ahead and do is drive it back in. Once it's in there, you can go outside and you can either call for another Faggio or an Elegy from one of your garages in the city and just drive it in so that car gets transferred, and then you have another Elegy or a Faggio in there to go ahead and dupe
Microwave
for the
Fish,
next time.
Wild Sicilian.
Now, you'll see the clips on my point of view
video.
here. Just go ahead and watch them and continue with this on how you would do this if you had a garage instead of an MOC, and also
so the
if you want to
requirements
keep
for this one, and in this case, I'm the one who's going to be duping, and Wild Sicilian's helped me. All Wild Sicilian needs to do is end up getting into my facility, whether he comes in with me or I send him an invite, and he needs to go ahead and get a Gerald job waiting for him on his phone. So just go through your phone, call Gerald, request a job, and just have it ready. So what's going to happen is
find those cars, kind of get them close
I need to have
together.
a facility. The
Then you would call
facility
your
needs to be full of cars.
Kind of similar as the steps if you were only doing one. So you would call the MOC, and what would happen then is once the MOC pops up, you run in, get the car that's in there, the Elegy or Faggio or whatever, drive it out. Take your first dupe car, drive it in. You possibly could get that permanent black screen. Go ahead and repeat those steps I mentioned to get yourself out of the black screen. And then once the car is in there, you would basically walk out of the MOC. You would request another Faggio or Elegy, and you would drive it in. And what would happen is that Faggio or Elegy from the garage you called in the city would end up swapping with that Elegy or that car that you duped inside. So once you go ahead and do that, now you have another Elegy or a Faggio inside the MOC. You're just going to simply run outside, get another one of those dupe cars, drive it in the MOC. You could possibly get the black loading screen, and then you would go through the Titan of a job steps. You would spawn back in the MOC. You would have 2 cars. You get out of the one that you're in, jump in the other one that stays, and then, I personally like to drive it out, drive it back in, and then you would walk out of the car, walk out of the MOC. You would order another Faggio or Elegy, drive it in so it transfers that car to another garage, and that's basically the steps. And you would keep repeating that for every dupe car. You would need to, drive it in after you pulled out the car that was inside. Drive it out, drive it back in, get out of the car, walk out, order another Faggio or Elegy, drive it in, get out of the MOC, get the next car that you duped, drive it in, and keep repeating that. Now, if you have a garage, what you need to do is you need to take the car, drive it to the garage, park outside of the garage, get out of your car, go into the garage, pull out either that Faggio or that Elegy from that full garage that you have there, drive it out, get in your car, drive it in, and then get out of the car. And if you have multiple cars, then you get out, you go find the other car, park it next to the garage, jump in, get the Faggio or Elegy out, and then repeat those steps. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment. Thanks for watching the video. See you guys next time.